We'll be diving into staging and the pros and cons of it, what it is, and what you can do to position yourself when you are a seller to use staging towards your benefit. We'll be diving into a little bit more about that, and let's dive right into it. As a seller, you are wanting to create a competitive advantage for yourself, especially if you're facing other competition in the market. Now, with this, staging can be a great benefit for you. And in this video, we'll be diving into what the pros and cons of it, along with even understanding what it is. So let's dive right into it. So, to define staging, staging refers to the process of preparing property for sale by arranging furniture, accessories, and decor in a way that appeals to potential buyers. The goal of staging is to highlight a property's strengths, downplay its weaknesses, and make it look as attractive and welcoming as possible to potential buyers. Staging can involve anything from rearranging furniture to decluttering to adding decorative accents and artwork, and can be done by professional stagers or the homeowners themselves. So there are definite benefits when it comes to the use of staging. One of the major ones is the fact that the house will most likely sell a little bit faster. And this is great for your bottom line, so that way you can move on to the next steps in your life and you don't have to worry about the transaction quite as much. Now, with this, the second pro of this is going to be the higher selling price. When you have photos and you have a home that looks like it is a fantastic home and will appeal to more buyers, you're most likely going to create a situation where you're going to have a lot more buyers interested in it, which means that there's multiple offers, which then means that you're getting a higher sales price. Now, with this, it then creates a little bit more of a competitive sales advantage for you, especially if there is a bunch of other homes in the area that maybe don't look quite as attractive to buyers. There are definitely a couple cons when it comes to staging, and the number one is going to be the cost of it. It will cost you, especially if you are using professional stagers to fill up a vacant home. Now, with that, the second con of this is it's just a little bit more inconvenient, especially if you are living in the home and you are trying to stage specific parts of that home. So keep that in mind when you are looking at staging a home and the pros and cons of it. We'll be diving into the pricing a little bit later on. If you are finding any of this content helpful, it would be wonderful if you could hit that like and subscribe button. And with that, we'll be diving into virtual staging. Now, what is virtual staging? Virtual staging is when you get the professional photos done and you have those photos edited to have staging in there. For example, the beds along with couches, things of that nature, to show what it could potentially be. Now, the benefit of this is that it's going to be cheaper. And on the flip side, though, if buyers do see in person, it doesn't quite give the lasting impression that you're wanting. But overall, it is a potential option for you to use if you do want to, but just know it may not translate quite as well as using actual staging or physical staging. So what is the cost of staging? And to note that this varies from house to house and how much you're wanting to do in terms of the scope of the project. For example, you can stage an entire house. That's going to be a lot more expensive than just staging maybe the kitchen and the primary bedroom. Now, with that, you usually are seeing a cost of anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 per month. It's a good idea to talk with your real estate agent to understand a little bit more about what's the best strategy for you and whether or not you need to stage the entire house or just very specific sections of that home, because of the fact that there are a little bit more return on value differences for each home. One of my requests for you is to comment down below on what you think of staging, what you think is not so great when it comes to staging, what you think is great about it. I'd love to hear all your comments down below. And with that, just know that ultimately, when it comes to staging or deciding to stage, it is going to be a personal decision, and is good to get as much advice as possible along with other information about pricing, so that way you can make an informed decision on whether or not it's a good fit for you or not. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.